Today I'm going to show you how to easily change your tire with the spare tire that came with your vehicle. Changing tires basically have the same identical steps as to any other car, with probably some minor differences. Why do we have to do this again? Changing a tire is a very useful skill to have as a motorist that can get you out from a time-consuming predicament. And then most maintenance jobs nowadays, like checking and changing your suspension, your brake system, your calipers, rotors, and a lot more, requires the tires to be off the vehicle to have more visibility and more working space to work with. Also, with this skill, you can now buy an unlimited assortment of tires and wheels of your liking and try them out with your car easy like plug and play, just like putting new shoes on. And with a little elbow grease, there's no need to go to the shops anymore for them to get installed, thereby saving you time and money. So join me, Hasher Didi again here, and welcome to another episode of Daily Driving. Before we start, I'd like to emphasize some very important safety pointers and precautions that we need to observe. First, we need to make sure our working area is safe. That means don't change your tire inside of a busy highway or road. If you have a flat tire while you're on the road or highway, try to limp or slowly drive your car with your hazard light on towards the next exit, to a gas station or rest area if it's all possible. If it's not possible, park your car as far as to the right as you can, with your hazard light on and safety cones deployed, and then call for help. We also need to make sure that we are working on a flat, solid, stable ground. A lot of us have this semi-inclined or sloping driveway as our common working area. Don't even think about doing it there. To start, let's gather our tools that are usually used in this job. We might not use them all, but I'm going to enumerate them so you guys have some alternative tools to use, or maybe that's the ones that you have or readily available. So first we have the jack and jack stands, which are devices to lift the car from the ground and support the weight of a lifted vehicle. Here we have a floor jack, a bottle jack, and a scissor jack. For the purposes of this video, we are using the scissor jack with a crank handle that comes with the car. Second, we have the tools to loosen and tighten the wheel lug nuts. Here we have a tire iron that came with the car, a breaker bar, a torque wrench which is used to properly torque the wheels to spec. Also, we have a classic 4-way tire iron. Then the impact wrench, which mechanics usually use in their shops. Third, of course, we need a spare tire. Sometimes some of us don't even know that we have one in the car. Usually located at the back of the car, in the trunk, under the chassis, and it comes in a full-size spare or a donut type spare. We also need a tire gauge to check if our spare tire is sufficiently inflated. And if it doesn't, we use the tire inflator. There's also safety cones or triangle to alert others that you are working within the vicinity. Wheel chocks to prevent the car from rolling when it's jacked up. Some cars have a lug-specific socket. In this case, it's a 21 mil, and sometimes you'll need a socket key specific to your car. In a 5 lug nut wheel as shown here, all 4 lugs are the same, but the 5th one is different and unique. Only the socket key could unlock that lug. Car manufacturers install this technology to serve as a deterrent to car tire thieves, as the socket key is specific to your car model, and hopefully it's only you that have it. Lastly, you'll need your car owner's manual and a pair of working gloves. Before you start jacking up the car, let's make sure it's secure. For cars with automatic transmission, let's put the car in park and engage the parking brake, and then let's shut off the engine. For standard or manual transmission vehicles, let's put it in gear, apply the e-brake, and turn off the engine. Wheel chucks are wedges that go between the tire and the ground to prevent movement. Position the chuck snugly against the tire tread to keep the car from rolling. Next is to loosen the lug nuts. Use the tire iron to loosen the lug nuts on the flat tire. You'll need to turn them counterclockwise to loosen them. Don't remove the lug nuts completely yet. Just loosen them enough so they can be removed easily once the car is off the ground. If you are having a hard time loosening the lugs with the regular tire iron, use the breaker bar with a longer handle, which provides you with more torque and less effort. But if you are struggling and weak and lazy like me and just hurrying up to do the job, you could use your impact wrench. Nobody will fault you. Now we are ready to jack up the car. Consult your owner's manual to find the designated jack points on your car. These are the spots where you'll place the jack to lift the car off the ground. Also, make sure passengers and excessive baggage are not in the car before raising the car up. And then take also into consideration the rated load of your jack and jack stands corresponds to the weight or total load of your car. So, for example, a 2-ton car should use a 2-ton jack or jack stands or higher. Place the jack in the designated jack point and use the crank handle to lift the car off the ground until the flat tire is about 6 inches off the ground. Make sure the car is stable before you continue. In this video, I have to put the jack on a block of wood because although the ground is flat, the driveway is recently filled with gravel and it's quite unstable. Now that the car is off the ground, you can remove the lug nuts the rest of the way and take off the flat tire. Set it aside, or you could put it under the vehicle to give you added safety. If your jack fails, the car will fall on the flat tire's rims. Sometimes the tire won't come off easily. Give it a good wiggle, but if it's not working or really stuck on the hub, it is a good trick to hammer the tire from behind, hitting the rubber part only. And now we are ready to install the spare tire. Make sure the spare tire pressure is sufficient or within your car manual's recommendations. You don't want to replace a flat tire with another flat one. So let's line up the holes in the spare tire with the wheel studs on the car and gently lower it onto the car. Sometimes the spare tire is too much for us to handle because the tire is just darn heavy. A trick is to use your feet by lightly suspending the tire on your feet and slowly guiding it to the wheel hub. Once the tire is in place, hand tighten the lug nuts as much as you can and make sure they spin on easily and not giving you a lot of resistance, because if not, you're probably cross-threading it, and I would suggest to remove it and thread it again. After hand tightening the lug nuts and the car is still on the jack, use the tire iron to tighten up just a little bit more, and that's okay because you really couldn't fully tighten it while it's up in the air because it will just spin. In tightening the lugs, it is a must that you do it in star or a crisscross pattern as shown here. We do this to evenly tighten the wheel to the hub. Then we are ready to lower the car. Let's use the crank handle to lower the car slowly back down to the ground. Make sure the car is stable before you continue. Once the car is on the ground, we could fully tighten the lug nuts. Use the breaker bar to tighten the lug nuts in a star pattern as much as you can. You'll need to turn them clockwise to tighten them. Make sure they are tightened evenly as much as possible. Excessively tightened lug nuts can strip the threads, distort brake rotors, and damage the wheel, and also can shear off the lug stud. Insufficiently tightened lug nuts, on the other hand, can come loose with disastrous consequences. While a torque wrench is not necessarily needed for emergency tire changes, ideally we should use them as much as possible or as early as possible to tighten the lug nuts to spec. So, in using this tool, we should find out the torque spec for your lug nuts from your car owner's manual first. In this case, this particular SUV can be tightened to 103 Newton meter or 76 feet-pound of torque. In this case, for the purposes of this video, we are going to use the feet per pound unit. So let's set or dial your torque wrench to 76 feet-pound and then lock it in the bottom dial. Then start tightening the lugs in a star pattern. If you hear a click, that means you reached the torque spec. Before wrapping up this video, let me just add more safety considerations with regards to spare tires. So full spare tires can be driven as a normal tire, which means there's no speed and range restrictions. While on the other hand, a donut type spare tire should not be driven over 50 miles an hour and no more than 50 miles in range. Driving for long distances on a donut spare tire can potentially cause damage to other car parts, including transmission. So always check your car owner's manual for the spare tire full specifications and their limitations. And secondly, with regards to jacks and jack stands, always use jacks and jack stands that is rated for your vehicle. So if you look up your vehicle's weight on your owner's manual or let's say online, divide that by 2, and in theory that's the minimum load rating you need for a pair of jack stands to support the front or rear of your vehicle. However, you might not want just to use the minimum, so go overboard. Also, when jacking up the car and you need to work underneath the car, always double jack the car, which means after you've used your jack to raise the car and settle it down on the jack stands, leave the jack in place as a safety backup. And also, as I mentioned earlier, you could use that spare tire or the flat tire, put it underneath the car as another backup. So if you like this video so far, make sure to give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing to help this channel grow. And looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.